everybody to join in, and then we will begin today's webinar, which is on the topic of a day in the life of an international student. Just hold tight before we begin. We'll just give it a few more minutes, just a minute or two possibly. All right, so we already have a few students, so in the interest of time, everyone, let's begin. So thank you so much for joining today. So we have these webinars weekly, and today's topic is going to be a day in the life of an international student. Today we have some excellent guest speakers with us. So we have Sam Burney, who's the Regional Manager, International Recruitment for Falmouth University, UK. And we also are joined by Amruta and Adil, who are international students at Falmouth University currently, who will be able to give you a realistic picture of how is it, and how much fun is it to be in the UK, to study in the UK, and be an international student as well. And you get to hear from somebody who is a current student as well. So without any delay, Sam, do you want to introduce yourself a little and our students who have joined as well, and before we begin?
Thank you, Jyotsna. Thanks for everybody for hanging on for us today. It's going to be a really interesting session. I'm really looking forward to it. It will be even more interesting if you give us your own questions. So keep those in mind as we're talking, and we'll try and go through everything. If we can't get through everything, you can get in touch with us later. But hopefully it will give you a really good idea about some of the things you need to keep in your mind at university, and so that you know what to expect when you make that leap of faith. And we're talking particularly about the UK today, but lots of what we're going to talk about is probably applicable if you're planning to be an international student anywhere overseas. I'm very lucky to be joined by two of our best students, Amruta and Adil. I'll ask them to just say hi and just talk about what they're studying and how long they've been at Falmouth University in the UK. But before I do that, I should really give a quick introduction myself and Falmouth University. So I'll be hosting today's session and talking to Adil and Amruta about their experiences and finding out from you what your questions are for them. So you should probably know a few things though. So I, as Jyotsna mentioned, work at Falmouth University in the UK. You can probably see on the screen behind me, it's not a big grey city. So it's a bit unusual from many other places you might be considering. It's on the coast. I will share some slides. Apologies if you're on your phone and this is a bit small, but I'll quickly whiz through some pictures of what you can expect. Let me just find. I've got too many windows open. I'm not going to share that way. Instead, I will jump straight in the interest of, I'll come back around and show you some nice pictures of Falmouth later. But yeah, Falmouth University is an arts university, so it has all the creative subjects very well covered, but we also have business, we have computing. We're a medium-sized university. Our motto is creativity in everything. And our location, as I mentioned, is quite unusual. But everything that that we're going to talk about today, I think is quite applicable to the experience of going overseas to the UK and studying. So without further ado, I'll turn to the important people today. Apart from yourselves and the questions you have, our stars today are Amruta and Adil. Amruta, do you want to say a bit about yourself and what you're studying at Falmouth?
Okay, so yeah, hi everyone. I am Amruta. I am a third year BA Honours Animation student here at Falmouth University. I am originally from Kerala, and then I grew up in Dubai and a few different places, and now I'm here. So I'm as international as they get. But yeah, overall, I've been in Falmouth for now 2.5 years. It's been one of the most loveliest experiences, and I'm sure we'll get to talk more about that later on.
Thank you. And Adil, same question. What are you studying at Falmouth? How are you finding it?
Hello, everyone. I'm Adil. I'm from Gujarat actually, and I'm studying bachelor's in game art, and I'm in my second year. Just started. So I've been in Falmouth, that is UK, in Cornwall, for about a year, I would say, and it's been fun. And yeah, like Amrita said, we'll talk about it more later.
Brilliant. So I can see some questions coming in already. That's brilliant. We'll try and do this chronologically. So think about the sort of questions that you would have at different stages. And I guess one question that our students get asked a lot is how they made the decision to choose their particular course, their particular university. So Adil, while we've got you, can you think back to your process while you were in Gujarat when you were making your decision? So
Yeah.
how was it? How did you come up with your decision to study game art at Falmouth University? Do you remember?
It was quite a sudden decision to just go for UK. I mean, I always wanted to go. Like I had other options, of course, like Canada and America, but UK. I like UK because of its like background and like just history, like art history. So I was in like I would say a bit of a limbo, if we can call, of like making a decision. So I started looking into universities. There were so many, but my priority was Falmouth because Falmouth is top 10 universities for game and art, of course. So it was a no-brainer. And then I applied through UCAS with an agent, and it was all in 1 month duration. So you can understand the chaos it was. But yeah, it was always the first choice. So I did apply in Bournemouth and Nottingham Trent, but Falmouth was like initially just like, yeah, I'm going there. And everything happened in 1 week. I got my visa. I applied for everything, and packed everything, and I was here before I knew it.
That's brilliant to know. Yeah, it could happen so quickly because
Mhm.
people do worry that how long will it take? And that's one of the advantages of the UK, certainly when you compare to somewhere like Canada, where it can be very unpredictable, or US, or even Australia. So that is the benefit of the UK. If you have everything in place, it can happen quickly. Amrita, you joined a bit longer ago, so you have to cast your memory further back. But
Yeah.
you were in beautiful Kerala. You're making your mind up. How was it?
Yeah, when I did make my mind up, I was actually living in Hyderabad, with like my dad's extended family and things, and I just knew for like the longest time I was really interested in animation, but I was worried about the fact that I didn't have enough experience for a portfolio because a lot of them seemed like very much competitive in the sense a lot of university options I was checking internationally as well as everywhere. They seemed very much focused on going into specialism and not like really giving an opportunity to actually explore and learn the medium. So I thought maybe I could never like follow through with this thing that I know I'm passionate about, but I have not had an opportunity to explore. But then while I was looking for options, Falmouth came up and I saw that Falmouth University provided like 2D, 3D, and stop motion, and it's very much like a beginner friendly course. And it's not like it seems useless. It was just like it was customed for people who have that passion and want to amplify that instead of being like, this is how you get categorized and get funneled through. So I was very much drawn to Falmouth for that reason, but I also applied to excuse me, Bournemouth, Kingston, and stuff like that. Um, yeah, and I was not very much interested in looking for a foundation yet. I wanted to get into the course immediately because thinking about expenses and everything, I was more leaning towards a 3-year course. And yeah, my process was rather similar to others. It happened rather quickly. It was like a spur of the moment, like, okay, let's give UCAS a shot. I did not use an agent. I did it all by myself. So I was like kind of surprised by how conveniently I was able to do it. So I was like, am I applying to the right thing and things like that? But overall, I am rather happy with my decision, and like the process is very similar to what Adil mentioned.
Fantastic. So yeah, so many different universities around the world. Definitely, yeah, working with someone like Upgrad, Study Abroad to sort of narrow those options down and sort of tailor them for what you're looking for is important. But ultimately, you need to know what is in your ideal course. So you were comparing and seeing, yeah, it's got 2D, it's got 3D, and it's sort of married up. And I think for you, Adil, as well, yeah, the course is what helped you decide. But yeah, if you can get some help finding the different courses to look at, work out which one's best for you, that can speed things up. But today's session is more about your actual life as an international student since you've arrived. So how do you think it's been going, Amrita? So you're in your third year now, so that must be your final year. So it's started to get serious. You're
Yeah.
getting towards, yeah.
Yeah,
But how's it been overall?
It's been a roller coaster to say the least. I feel like I came here yesterday and now thinking about like leaving, yeah, it's very bittersweet because like I'm excited for the opportunities ahead, but also like university life has been like yeah, like they say, some of the best years of my life. I've met some really lovely people here and yeah, fingers crossed, we keep in touch and everything like that. And overall, I just feel like the environment that I hoped I would get when I was like studying somewhere, especially when like being apart from your family and things like that for so long, you want to be around people who you feel safe and happy with. And I felt that in Cornwall, and I'm like happy about that. That's why I've like stuck through it and everything. And yeah, so overall exposure wise, I think it's been really exciting in that sense of meeting new people and interacting and being creative in a rather scenic place like Cornwall. So that really helps to have the beaches when the weather is not British weather. But yeah, so overall I'd say it's been like a really eye-opening experience. I've learned a lot about myself and I've learned new things about other people and included that in my life. And like I've got a bit more of a structure and like defined myself as a person a bit more here. Sounds very philosophical, but like that's kind of what my experience has been. And it's been pretty good so far.
I know what you mean. Yeah, I mean, education transforms you, and you become a different person from the person who began, and it's sometimes hard to work out what exactly you've picked up. But yeah, it sounds like you're just still on that roller coaster, and I guess we should talk about the actual study because you said you chose it based on the course, and I think a lot of people on this call will be familiar with study. Maybe some of them are looking at postgraduate study in UK and thinking like, how is UK, the learning methods, like how it is the teaching? Is it all lectures and exams, or is it something different? I'll come back to you, Adil, as well. But yeah, just staying with you, Amrita. Like, could you talk about like what does a typical week look like, if there is such a thing as a typical week in your course?
Yeah. Typical week, I'd say there's quite a bit of a balance between like actual lectures in like a lecture theatre, and it's very much dependent on your module and what year you're in. Now, for like my course in first year, it's very much practical oriented because they assume that you don't have, because there's a whole diverse range of students who picked art as an elective or did a foundation year. So to accommodate to everyone's thing, so there's a lot of like workshops of like basic fundamental principles and things like that. And with like another thing that drew me to studying here was the fact that the faculty is still present in the animation industry. So the course is very much like adapting to like what the industry standard is because they're getting that firsthand experience. So in like first year, it's a lot about like learning your basics and things like that and exploring the 3 different mediums. And then in second year, your lecture and workshop time reduces and it's a bit more like self-study oriented as the years progress. You still do have like workshops and like feedback sessions and things like that. But like first year is usually where they like especially go into, and because it's an honors degree, there's also like a theoretical essay that you write. So which is something that I was very intimidated by when I first came. I was very worried, like, how do you write a theoretical essay for like university? But it has been something that I've been really interested in because you get to sit and analyze films, and that's a really fun thing to do. And then yeah, so into second and third year, that's how it is. So like, especially in your second and third year, you get a lot more workshop based or like self-study inducted lessons. So my lectures are a lot less compact, but it was never like an overwhelming amount. It was, I think I'd have like 8 lectures in a week maybe, and they'd be like rather spaced out. And Wednesday afternoons are like blocked out to be free for everyone in the university to use resources such as Wednesday Open Workshops, where you get to, other than stuff that's related to your coursework, if you have interests in like courses that are provided in both campuses, you can apply for inductions and things like that, like woodworking or jewelry making and things like that, even if you're like a film or game student, etc. And you get to explore those different things and sign up to stuff. So you get to keep learning and keep exploring. So I feel there's that like time allocated for you to like have that space to explore your own way creatively.
That's
So
brilliant.
yeah, a lot of it is about like balancing those two things.
So it's starting off like everyone's doing pretty much the same syllabus, but as you move through, it's more self-directed. It's more to do with what you want to
Yeah.
achieve after the course. I guess like what's interesting for you. And
Mhm.
Adil, same question over to you. So do you want to reflect on how's it been overall, and also how does your course work in game art? I know it's very practical in game art as well, but do you want to say a
Yeah.
bit about that?
Well, I love Cornwall. Cornwall is, I know it's just a bit like off topic, but Cornwall has really rich history with the Arthurian legend, and it's a birthplace of King Arthur. And it kind of like, made that they kind of like, pointed like, oh wow, I should probably go there. But other than that, Falmouth University, with especially for game artists, I would say, like Amrita said, it's really flexible. So each like year, the university adapts, the course adapts to the industry. So you won't be studying what people studied in last year. That means your seniors. So it changes accordingly because the teachers are also working in the industries, meanwhile, like studying, meanwhile, like teaching here. So that's the one thing that really sold out because like, yeah, that's really good. It's same as Amruta. For the first year, I would say we don't have class every day. So we have Monday, Wednesday is always free, of course. Then we have Friday and like Thursday and everything else. And the rest of the time you can do anything you want. And of course, then the big question comes for the job. It's like, yeah, how do you balance everything? So you can only work as an international student for 20 hours. So I think it's quite easy to just like, schedule everything, just like make a really good schedule and follow everything else. Yeah.
We'll definitely talk a bit more about budgeting and part-time work in a moment. But going back to when you first arrived and you were doing the study in the UK for the first time, was there anything that was surprising to you or different from your expectations, or was it all broadly as you'd expected from your research?
Oh, wow, that's a good question, actually. Well, the biggest difference is everything, to be honest. India is quite different from us. We have different people, different types of like mannerisms and different types of norms. I would say one thing I really enjoy and like about being in UK is it's just manners, I would say. People here are quite, I would say, better than what India is. But yeah, that's how it is. Um, and I don't know, it's
You
just how
found
it
it
is.
you found it kind of
Yeah, it was.
welcoming your
Yeah, it
department.
was.
Yeah.
Yeah, in Cornwall, in fact, is quite different from other parts of UK as well. So it's kind of different from everything like else in UK. So
So I
the
mean that
people
is a
here
good
are
time
quite
probably
friendly.
to talk about safety generally, because I know especially any parents on this will be first question on their mind, like is it a safe place? And one way they can find out, I guess, is to talk to students who are already there. So did you get a chance to speak to anyone before you arrived, or how did you put your mind at rest about the safety aspect, or was it you were uncertain right until you arrived Like, what
Yeah.
because I'm asking, yeah,
Well,
what would your advice be for someone who's watching and thinking, like, how do I find out if this place is safe or that place is safe?
according to Celestine, who is also like international coordinator here, our campus, the Falmouth campus, is second safest campus in whole UK, first one is somewhere in Wales, and it kind of like, okay, yeah, that's good, at least like something I can tell to my parents, but it's always uncertain until you come here. So I would say it's quite safe. Like I said, it's far away from all the main cities, so we don't have that many people here. So it's just simple. And you always see like people roaming about in Falmouth every night as well, so it's kind of safe.
Good. So it feels safe. So it is
Yeah,
safe, but it also feels
it is definitely safe. Yeah.
about. And yeah, I guess same question for you, Amrita. And yeah, again, like parents worry. And yeah, have you ever felt unsafe, or what tips might you give people? Or is there anything you want to add to what Adil said regarding safety?
For me, before I came here, I was lucky enough that like there was a brief period in my life where I did live in the UK for like about 2 years. So my like teacher from like primary school then, I was still in contact with her, and then I found out that she moved close to Falmouth. So I got in touch with her and asked about like just Falmouth as an option. Like I asked about all my options, and then she was most like lenient towards Falmouth because she was like, if anything, I'm there as well, and things like that. So it was reassuring in that sense. But it was the fact that I did have someone who was from the area speak to me and things like that. And another aspect I found useful was like on the university website, ask our community page and speaking to students and stuff like that over there, asking questions in terms of that helped me a bit more. I'm just a very like particular person, so I'm not really that much of a like social person because I'm like usually sitting in the studios working. But even if I do come home from like late nights and stuff, I have felt pretty safe. But always, I mean, my thing is always be mindful of your surroundings, always be focused and be present. So yeah, so I do feel safe, but I will always be careful. That kind of sense.
Yeah, very, very sensible advice. I mean, to give context, we're in a kind of like holiday resort area. So yeah, particularly if you're going into the big cities, you should be even more mindful as you move around. And I guess any place in the world has some areas where it feels very safe, and other areas where the locals would say like you should be a bit careful there. But yeah, as Adil mentioned, we're currently ranked the second safest campus in the UK, but that is no reason to be complacent. But it's really great that you feel safe, that it's not stopping you doing things you would want to do. And in terms of just the actual, how is it in the UK? So if we could talk a bit about accommodation, getting to and from your classes, like the public transport. Amrita, I guess you've been in 3 different years at Falmouth, so maybe you've stayed in different accommodations. Is there anything you want, like where are you staying now? Are you staying on the campus? Are you staying in private accommodation?
In my first year, I was on campus. I was in Glasney, and I do miss it in the sense that I could roll out of bed and then in 5 minutes I would be in lecture and it would not be being late. Didn't do that, but it was just nice to have that option that like everything is like so close by, like I can just show up to my lectures, and just overall the environment was pretty safe, and I did have I lucked out in the sense of having a good flat and everything. But in my second and third year, I've been living in the same student house with 4 other course mates here in Penryn, so I'm like 15 minutes away from campus. It's rather nice house. We have really sweet landlords who leave like presents and things for us, which is nice. And yeah, so it's a 15-minute walk to campus, and it's rather close to the train station and Asda and things like that. So in terms of convenience wise, that sense, accommodation has been pretty good. And yeah, housing here, if you're like looking for on campus, the process is rather simple, and then you get to explore the different options. All of them come with like basic amenities. So if you're like worried about what you should bring with you if you are applying abroad and stuff, I'd say definitely start by checking what the accommodation options provide, because I know some of my friends who brought like iron boxes and things like that, and you don't want to waste like valuable luggage space for things that you will like end up having here, or like could actually get for rather cheap once you do come here. So yeah, slightly diverting from it, but yeah, in that sense, like accommodation has been pretty good for me. So I've had like two options, but I am rather like aware of the other options as well. So it's definitely based on always look into options based on what you find important. For me, like I wanted like an all same gender flat, and I didn't, and I knew a friend of mine needed accessibility needs and things like that. So if you feel like there are things that you require, do communicate them with whoever you're like applying with, be it the university or your like agent or things like that, because those things are very important, and it's not something you should like leave to the end, if that makes sense. Because yeah, because I mean, in Falmouth, when you do apply, you're almost guaranteed in first year that you will get like an on-campus accommodation, either at like Glasney or the different options that we do have. But yeah, always be careful about your procedure and not like leave it to the end, I'd say.
Yeah, definitely. And like I say, like you said, Amrita, at Falmouth, international students are guaranteed beyond campus accommodation if they're studying bachelor's for the first year, so long as they don't leave it to the very last minute. And we also have postgraduate accommodation available as well. But in terms of your experience, so you're in walking distance. So do you want to give us a sense of like what is the climate in the UK, or certainly we're the southernmost of all the universities, sort of holiday areas, so it might not be typical, but can you comfortably walk 15 minutes? Is it not too hot, not too cold? Or is it
I as of right now, it is the winter, so it's a bit chilly and it's been a bit windy. But other than that, it's not too bad of a walk. One fair warning, Cornwall is all hills, and so it's always up or down, up or down, up or down. So really good core workout. So yeah, I don't need to go to the gym. I just take my walks to and from campus, and I feel great. Yeah, so overall it can be um not like really intense. It's not too bad of a walk, but yeah, just as long as you know you're like safe routes, and then just pace yourself and plan accordingly, you'll be fine. Yeah. It's a scenic walk, so that's a plus, even if sometimes you just don't want to do that walk.
basically
To look
get
at.
some
So,
exercise? How about
yeah.
you, Adil? Are you lazy and take the bus or train, or do you like to walk?
Oh, I love to walk. I do take a bus when I go from Falmouth to Penryn, because there's too many hills, and I feel like I would go there and just sleep in every class and workshops. So I don't want to do that. But yeah, I take bus from Falmouth, which is by this Falmouth campus actually, Woodland campus. It's the second
Yeah,
campus, Falmouth campus.
that's a
I take
convenient way. Yeah, to
yeah,
get between the campus and the main town. And are
yeah.
you staying on campus or you're staying in private
For the
accommodation?
first year, yes, I did live in Glasney, which is a student accommodation right in the Falmouth, right in the campus, Penryn campus. But then I switched to private, but I've moved in with my flatmates that I lived with in Glasney. So yeah, it's pretty good actually. It's close to the bus stop, and there's always like Penryn campus bus, which goes from Falmouth campus, Woodland campus to Penryn campus, which is like easy, and it takes you in like 10 minutes, I would say 10 to 15
And
minutes.
do you use like a bank card to pay, or do you
Yeah,
have some like
I have it
cash or
I have it on my phone. I just tap in and tap out, which is easier. We also have applications, of course. We have the First Bus app, which I use quite often when I'm traveling. Like, when I have more classes, I just buy like a big ticket, and it's easier. We also
and
have
most things in the UK are cashless now. Basically, you
yeah,
tap your card or tap your phone. So
yeah,
yeah, if anyone's watching this, yeah, it's very easy. You don't need to carry like British pounds
lots of
around with
cash.
you and like this.
That's
Um,
true.
and one thing that is a bit different is healthcare, but we've not mentioned yet. So we talked a bit about safety,
Mm,
healthcare in the UK. So if you apply to become a student in the UK, you need to pay immigration health surcharge. So you would
mm,
have paid that.
yes.
Have you sort of registered with a local doctors, or
Yeah.
how was it? What did you? like find when it came to healthcare?
It's quite
You've
simple.
not
You
needed to use it much, but I know
yeah.
it's important. Yeah, people know what the
Yeah.
options are. How is it in UK?
I would say the process is quite simple. You come here, you download the NHS app. You can do it on the website. You register, and you find the nearest doctor, which is like the clinic or any hospitals, and you register with them. And once you're registered, they would either give you your NHS number on the email, or you can also get it delivered in a letter and parcelled to you. It's really good. I've only used it once. I've not been. I don't usually get sick. It's good. But yeah, I used it once during my first year, and it's quite good. Like I like the systematic, like the way everything is.
Good. I mean, it's free at the point of use. You need
Yeah.
to pay some money if you're getting like prescribed medicine, but it's at a fixed rate. It's quite cheap.
It's certainly convenient as well. It's like, you know.
Well, hopefully you continue to not need to use for clinics.
Yeah, I hope so too.
In terms of part-time work, you mentioned it before, so people need to know like how to set up healthcare, but also how was it like when you applied for part-time jobs? Did you need to like, I don't know, was there some visa? Did they ask to see your visa, or was it quite straightforward? Like,
You need to give your proof of like, you know, you can work here. So there's you can look it up on the website, which is the UK government website, and you go there and they give
Yeah.
you a share code, which is like like proof of work, like you can work here, and you can share the code with your employer where you applied. It will be just easier. Like the same goes for I think everything else as well, even your immigration status. I think you can do everything on the website. You can get the share code and you can just give it here. And
it
yeah,
certainly seems to have got easier since it's moved to the e-visa and you can just get share code.
Yep.
So yeah, the employer can see straight away your right to work. And as you mentioned, it's generally 20 hours at the moment, but you should always check with the government sites, always check the official information. People might have different visa categories, so it's always really important, really good advice you gave there, Adil. Yeah, check the government sites and see the official information. And have you taken many part-time jobs since you've come to UK alongside your studies?
No,
Obviously,
since
you act as a student ambassador.
yeah, here I am.
That's what you do.
I have two positions actually in the university. I'm also equity ambassador. So I also work with like lots of like local colleges and like, you know, making like raising awareness. It's like a university is good, should study more. But yeah, I only have two jobs right now, which is this and this equity ambassador, because I'm a full-time student and I like
Exactly.
to focus on my studies. I decided not to get, at least in first 2 years, not to work too much, so I can focus a little. Yeah, but I think it's really simple, and since it's like a vacation destination, I would say Cornwall, there's lots of jobs.
Amazing.
Yeah.
But yeah, it's not a place where you can like earn and learn, pay all your costs through time work. I guess we'll come on to talk about budgeting as well. But I want to ask the same question to Amrita about part-time work, how you've found it in the UK. Was it easy to find part-time work, Amrita, or did you have to make lots of applications?
For me, again, it's like others said, my part-time work is this ambassador work. So I work with the university, and I was intrigued by the idea that it was on campus, and I was like, okay, this is convenient for me. And it's very much, it's a 0-hour contract. So I pick my shifts based on my class schedule and things like that. So, and then I also got promoted to be a senior ambassador, which has been like a really exciting experience in the sense of like you get to work open days and things like that. And yeah, it can be a bit challenging, especially if you're not mindful of the hours you are allowed to work, because a lot of job opportunities, they would want you to work regular, but if you can't afford to because of your visa, it's more important that you prioritize the limitations of your visa than like getting more hours in. Yeah, and overall in terms of applying, I had my interviews and things like that, and once I did get the post, it was a lot of verifying my visa and then getting a national insurance number, share codes and things like that. And the share code is also applicable for things like your rent and stuff like that. And one definitely important thing to like look into as an option that even the universities all across the UK encourage is to get a UK bank account, because it just makes things a lot easier in terms of like payments and things like that, and then earning money or like paying rent and things like that. So yeah, I didn't really need to have one in my first year because I was like, well, my rent is going out of an international transfer to the university, but once it became a monthly thing while I'm staying like in a student house, it was just much more easier to have it with my UK bank account. And then it's just easier in terms of like earning money and things like that. And yeah, based on hours. So I do occasionally also do like commissions and stuff like that with like social media and things. So yeah, I'm like a freelance graphic designer for like a theater company and things like that. So it's always just be like mindful of your options and just be careful about your hours really and what kind of limitations your visa has, because that definitely takes priority, especially because yeah, you're here to study for your thing. So yeah, always make sure it doesn't affect that, and that's what I wanted to be mindful of. And yeah, I feel like I'm able to like keep a decent balance with my student ambassador work, my coursework, and like just life in general is what I'd
So
say.
let's talk about life in general. So yeah, study is the most important. If everyone is on song with that, absolutely. It's such a big investment in your studies and your future, but you owe it to your future self to devote yourselves to learning and acquiring the right skills. But you might want some part-time job for some other experiences and helps with the finances as well. But have you joined any clubs, societies, or how is life in general outside of your books and your working? How have you found it? For anyone who's watching and thinking like, how is actually the life in the UK? Will I be in my room, or will I get to go out and do things, meet other people? I guess everybody is different, and you've mentioned already, Amrita, that you're not the most sort of party person, always out. But have you made friends? Have you found the people on your course friendly? Have you found some hobbies and interests to do outside of your classes?
Yeah, so in my first year, I was really interested in like joining some kind of physical activity, because I was like, I'm going to be a shrimp in my little Cintiq tablet for most of my time. I should do something like a physical activity. And luckily enough, because the societies are part of student union, it's like a very diverse range of all kinds of societies that you can find. So you can find like so I joined the hip hop society in first year. Was not super regular, but the sessions that I did go to, it was a really fun environment with a lot of like lovely people. Um, and yeah, so it's been really nice. And in my second year, I did like start a society and run it for like about a year with my friends, and it was the event society, and we got to like, because we noticed that there was a lot of events that happened in freshers, but not really more so towards as the years progressed, and we wanted to like maybe give it a shot. But yeah, coursework and life just got a bit too busy, so we folded. But the time we did have together, it was really fun. We had some great events, and then this year I'm part of the Aerial Society. So I was like, I'm gonna try something completely new and out of it. I knew some of my friends were in it, and yeah, it's been a really fun learning experience to try something new and explore creatively. But there's a huge diverse range of societies that you get to explore, and you get to meet some really cool people, not just limited to your course. I did luck out with the fact that in my course, as a group, like class group, we've been very close, and it's been very like open and things like that. I live with a lot of them, and so yeah, it's been really exciting in that sense, especially because you spent so much of your time working creatively together on like films and like game projects, I'm sure for Adil. So you spend a lot of like time with each other, digging, picking apart each other's brains. So you want to be around people who make you happy. So yeah, and I was able to find that here. And then like there's also like cultural societies such as the Asian Society who like host different events like Chat with Chai and things like that, which has been really nice to see, like not just a specific range, but also get that sense of what people from your place are also going through similar things like you are, like homesickness or craving for food and things like that. So when you, I mean, I met some lovely people there, and then like we go to each other's homes and cook food from back home, like with video calls from parents being like, how do I do this? And it's been a whole different like learning experience in that sense of, and I feel like I've become closer to my culture because I've had that opportunity to share it with my friends here as well. Like I had like a Diwali dinner with like my flatmates here, and it was really like heartwarming to see their excitement to see something new and learn something new and things like that. So I feel having that opportunity to like be multicultural and share stuff like that has been really exciting. And just in regular basis, they do have the intercultural cafe, which is just like free tea, coffee, and cakes and stuff. And it's a great space for mature students or undergraduate students to just talk to each other and just have a much more relaxed outlook. But then other than that, there's also quite a diverse range of events and things that happen within town as well. Like Falmouth has quite a range of, despite being rather small, it has quite a range of opportunities for what you're interested in. So you do have like clubs and parties if you want to attend, but you also have pottery painting and like crochet and things like that. And yeah, it's a very like homely town in that sense because there's like a cozy corner for different kinds of interests and a lot of hidden gems and things like that. And I think you spend a lot of time exploring that, and it's a really fun experience to do it with other people as well.
It sounds like you've packed so much into your time. I'm not surprised. It feels like a roller coaster. You've obviously got your work-life balance really spot on now, Ruta, and you're making the most of the opportunities there. Really inspiring to hear. I'm going to ask the same question to Adil. So in terms of your outside of classes, outside of working, are there any clubs and societies you've tried, or any other ways that you like to spend your time and switch off from working on your studies or your ambassador working?
For the first year, I joined actually two societies. One is squash and other one is poetry society. I didn't do, for second year, I didn't do squash because I was second year and too much work. But I was in the committee for the poetry society for second year. But unfortunately, one of our committee members dropped out, and the society is now for adaptation. So nothing in this year. But yeah, it's really cool. Poetry society. Like I said, Falmouth, like Amrita said, Falmouth is a really artsy town. It's quite intimate, and there's lots of like cafes and pubs which does like special events. So there's like open mics. I like to go on like every weekend or like Wednesdays, which is nice. I quite like my friends as well. Like so, my flatmates. We like to go weekends. Like we go to pub and just like and go for a walk along the beach. I'm not really a social person like going out party. I'm more into exploring nature. So every chance I get to go explore, I was just out there, just like walking everywhere in Cornwall because it's absolutely gorgeous, especially in summer. You should never miss the chance of like just going out.
And I'm really pleased one of you mentioned the beaches as well, because that's
Oh,
obviously something you won't get in every study destination. So you're
yeah.
making the most of that as well.
Mm.
Because we made the late start, we're a bit pressed for time, but if you're watching this live and you've got a question, do put it in the Q&A, so Adil or Amruta can respond to your questions. If you're watching this on playback, there's a few different ways to get in touch with us. One of those Amruta mentioned, which is Ask Our Community. If you go on the Falmouth website, so if you just Google Falmouth and you go to Ask Our Community page, you can reach out to some of our students and hear more about what life is like as an international student. And that's really one of the best ways to find out how it actually feels to be a student on the course that you're interested in. So you might find a student off your course, or you might find somebody from India, if you're coming from India, or you might find a bachelor's student, or you can search through all the different profiles and then chat further to do that. We've also got Upgrad, lots and lots of resources online, and they have people as well that you can get in touch with and can guide you on all the different options. So we'll just hang around now. If there's any other questions, we will first, but I just wanted to leave you with just a tip from each of our students. Like if there's one thing they want you to know, but based on their experience, what do they wish they knew when they came to become an international student in the UK? What would it be? Adil, have you got one? What would your tip be to anybody who's thinking about studying in the UK to make the most of their time?
I would say, I mean, it's a bit like a bit too much forward, but what I would say is socialize with other people as well. It's really easy to just like, talk to same people who's like from India and like other Asian countries, but do try to socialize with other people as well. And the other one would be finances. The biggest issue is the difference between the currencies. So you have to have a really good budget to like maintain everything in your life here, because it's not gonna be good staying all the way in UK and all your finances come from India. That's what I would say. So
and yeah, a UK bank account was a tip that Amruta gave us as well.
Yeah.
And yeah, same question for you, Amruta. So Adil's already taken some of the best tips there. Speak to other people. Don't just stay in your own sort of comfort zone. Maybe move outside and speak to people that you're not that familiar with. So socialize was a better way you put it. Just be social and talk to everybody. But Amruta, what would your tips be to people thinking about studying in UK?
I'd say definitely the first thing, bring a raincoat. It's very important. Second thing, sort out stuff like your BRP and things like that immediately, because that thing can run away from you very quickly. So get that sorted. And third thing, the fact that you feel nervous and excited at the same time, that's like the best feeling. So keep that adrenaline rush going and then like find joy in it, that you get that opportunity to explore a different place and things like that. And when you like, I feel like it's that sense of gratitude which keeps me going. And I'm like, yeah, a lot of opportunities that I know people who might be more deserving than me are not getting this opportunity. I'm getting this and I'm going to make the most out of it. So yeah, I'd say like reach out, make the most out of your opportunities. Don't forget your raincoat and don't forget your like important documentation. So yeah, those are my three main points, I would say.
Brilliant advice. And yeah, on that note, I'll pass back over to Jyotsna at Upgrad, but just to say thank you to Upgrad for arranging this session. Thank you for those attending it, and I knew it would be a really interesting session. And yeah, thanks to Amruta and Adil. Yeah, I've learned a lot about Falmouth as well. But yeah, back over to you, Jyotsna.
Thank you so much. I mean, that was such a lovely experience to just hear both of you. Took me back to my time as when I was an international student. I mean, there were so many pointers, especially the last few points that Amruta and Adil shared. Those are the main areas that the students should ensure they should ensure that they've taken care of their BRP and the finances. And of course, I mean, you should have a social life as well. Otherwise, it gets a little boring. So always connect with people as well. Again, Sam, thank you so much for bringing Amruta and Adil together and doing the session. And thank you so much for your time, and for everybody who has joined as well. Hope the session has given you an idea of what would it be like to be an international student. So thank you so much for everyone who joined in, and thanks Sam once again. Thanks Amruta. Thanks Adil. Have a good day. Thank you.
Thank you.